Welcome into the ArtGibbs Sports Business Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about NASCAR, specifically how the TV money is divided up. It's a little bit different than the NFL and the NBA, and I think you might find it actually quite interesting. So we're going to just lay that out here. So the NFL and the NBA, they have their league revenue determine the salary cap for the players, and that's the money that goes to the players, of course, and then the rest goes to the ownership and some to the sort of NFL league office. Now, NFL revenue is basically, and again, to get really tight in the calculation is tough, but basically it is the TV money. So the TV money is basically the money that goes to the NFL. So this is going to be different than all of the game day revenue, concession sales, all of that kind of stuff. Parking, that's not going to be included, but, some level of the merchandise sales and the TV rights and the licensing that the NFL itself does. It's roughly half. It's like 48% of the revenue goes to the players through that salary cap. So NFL signs a lucrative TV deal, billions of dollars, roughly half that, a little bit less, will go to the players through that salary cap. The rest goes to the ownership. And then the ownership has the game day revenue, parking, all of that stuff. They get that as well. Again, it's a little bit different if they're sharing a stadium, etc. But sort of high level, that's roughly what it looks like. And then ownership, of course, will incur all the costs. They have all the staff. They have the cost of owning the stadium, etc., etc. And then their player costs are covered by that portion of the TV money. Now, the way NASCAR works is a little bit different. So in NASCAR, the sort of idea of team and stadium is different. There's roughly 32 stadiums. There's different ownership groups that own these stadiums. They're sort of considered, quote unquote, the team owners. And then you've got all these teams competing that have all the sponsorships on the side of the cars. They're a little bit different. They're almost the players. They pay their drivers, etc. So it's divided up a little bit different. So we're going to look at that right now. So NASCAR is on a sort of a 10-year TV deal, $8.2 billion deal. And I'm just going to run through how it's divided up. So 10% goes to NASCAR, sort of the overarching organization that does the marketing, administration, everything around NASCAR. And then 65% of that TV revenue goes to the stadium owners, kind of on a per race basis. So, the Daytona stadium owner would get more than a smaller race, but basically they're going to get 65% of that, the TV revenue that's associated with that race. And then 25% goes to the teams in the form of a race purse. So that 25%, just to get into that a little bit, there's different leagues. According to jeffgluck.com, that 25% is split among the three other national series as well. So you've got the Top Cup will take 93% of that 25%, and then the other cups will get 5%. Truck Series only getting 0.5%. So really, those lower series are basically in a different league. The main, top Cup Series gets roughly 25%, about 22%, 23% of the revenue. As an example, Daytona 500 in the year 2020, the prize purse was $23.6 million, and that puts the track payout at $61.36 million for that race, and that's largest of any single race. So now the stadium ownership used to be very divided. So there would be people that would own a stadium here and a stadium there, two stadiums here, two stadiums there. Just as a note, NASCAR recently has gone through a large consolidation. NASCAR, the parent entity, bought Speedway Sports, I believe it was, that owned many of the stadiums. They purchased them, merged together, and then just recently Dover, which owned the track in Nashville and the track in Dover, Delaware, that was recently purchased by NASCAR as well. So now NASCAR basically, I believe, owns and controls all the stadiums. So that division will be a little bit different going forward with effectively a single ownership group on those stadiums. So we'll see how that continues going forward with the teams and the stadiums. Now, the teams, of course, can go get outside sponsorship. That's the whole joke of, the Sunoco fuel, cereal, Cheerios, crypto.com, Chevy, that when they do the interviews, because they can go get their own sponsorships as well that help pay to fund that team. And then as they're winning, they get the prize purse. And of course, as they're winning, they get more sponsors. The stadium owners, they're more acting as the owners, getting that revenue payment from the TV deals. And then of course, getting their concessions and their race day revenue, parking, concessions, etc. So that's all the time we have. Thank you.